Good evening, welcome to RAAONLINE. Today we'll see the basic terminologies in a pacemaker system. So a detailed description of pacemaker system should include the indications of permanent pacing in non-myocardial infarction situations and MI situations, and the choice of modality of pacemaker system and follow-up for parameters. So today we will see the introductory terminologies in a pacemaker system. So these are the implantable pacemaker. The parts of pacemaker are two. So there is a battery or the circuit which has two parts. One is the battery and the other one is the electrical circuit for the impulse generation. So this is the one which is implanted in the pacemaker pocket. It is below the left clavicle. Why the left side? Because of most of the people are right hand dominant. So they use right hand predominantly. So under the left clavicle, it is in the subcutaneous pocket. So there is no venous entry of the pocket. So then it is connected to the lead. Here the lead is screwed into the generator. So this lead enters the subclavian, left subclavian vein, through the left subclavian vein into the vena cava, into the right atrium or the right ventricle. So this is the classical conventional pacemaker, atrial or ventricular or dual chamber pacemaker. So the components, two major components as said already, was the implantable pulse generator, also called as the pacemaker battery. It is not just the battery, the circuit also. Then the lead wire, usually there is a conductor coil with the insulation. So this lead wire can be unipolar or bipolar. Unipolar means there is only cathode or the anode. So there is a single pole in the tip of the lead while the other pole is in the battery. Or now whatever pacemakers are coming nowadays are bipolar. So both the anode. So the anode is the receiving electrode. That is a positive electrode, positive current. When the current is flowing, it is the positive end. And the cathode is the negative end. So both are located in the leads in a bipolar lead. So whatever pacemaker leads are coming nowadays are bipolar lead. So the difference between the unipolar and the bipolar lead is the unipolar lead has a single pole in the lead. So there is a large pacing artifact in the pacemakers used earlier days, but because of the bipolar leads there is a small pacing artifact. The pacing voltage which we see is a very small action potential because of the bipolarity of the leads. So this is the pulse generator, this is the lead. You can see the two poles, that is the anode positive and the cathode negative when the current is flowing. And there is a body tissue. Earlier when there was a unipolar lead, when the anode is here, the conduction is through the body tissue. There is a interface, lot of interface into the cathode in the battery. So there is lot of electromechanical interference as well as myopotential or muscle potentials from the pectoralis muscle and the body fluid interface, which used to cause lot of artifacts earlier. Now because of the two poles being in the lead, these are not seen nowadays. The pulse generator has two components, one is the battery and the other one is the circuitry. As you can see, there are two leads which are fastened or connected to the battery. These are the two leads. You can see the fan-like tines in the lead. So this is called the tine lead. This need not be screwed in, it is just placed in the right atrium or the ventricle in the trabecular network. So this will go and attach itself to the ventricle or the atrial tissue and then form a fibrous tissue around it. So it becomes stable in that part without even screwing in. There are screw-in leads also. We will see the types of the leads. So there is insulation of the lead to prevent leak of the potential or to maintain the proper impedance or resistance to the current flow. There is insulation of the lead. So this leads are the insulated wires which contain the conduction coils. So they only either sense or pace the myocardium. So sensing, this conduction coil will sense the intrinsic atrial wave, P wave, or the intrinsic ventricular contraction as or the QRS contraction, the sensing depends upon the sensing threshold or the sensitivity. So, there can be under or over sensing based on the lead parameters as well as the intrinsic P or QRS complex amplitude. So, that is called the sensitivity and the pacing also is from the lead or the insulated wires. So, the leads can be characterized based on the position within the heart. Usual positioning is transvenous, which is the endocardial. Through the vein RARV, it is in the endocardial surface. This is suitable for adult pacemakers, while children like in congenital heart diseases, epicardial leads are commonly used because of the size of the venous channel as well as in need for recurrent replacement of the battery. So, epicardial leads commonly in children with congenital heart disease requiring pacemaker. Based on the fixation mechanism, leads are classified as active or screw-in leads. So, this screw-in lead or a tined lead, which is a passive lead, which we saw fans or wings-like structure which attach themselves to the ventricular trabeculae or the atrial surface and form a fibrous capsule around them and stabilize. And depending upon the shape, we saw the two shapes of the leads. One is the straight or the other one is the J or curved shape, which is used in the atrium. Based on the polarity, unipolar or bipolar leads. Based on the insulator, it can be either silicone or polyurethane. Both are biocompatible. Silicone is the inert insulator. So, based on the fixation mechanism, these are the tines or the passive fixation mechanism which are lodged in the trabeculae or the fibrous meshwork of the heart. So, this is the screw-in helix. So, this helix or the screw, it extends into the endocardial tissue, it needs to be screwed in. So, it can be placed anywhere, while the tined leads need a stable position like the RV apex, while these screw-in leads can be placed anywhere even in the bundle of His. So, myocardial or epicardial leads based on the fixation mechanisms, they can be stab-in or screw-in or suture. So, screw-in, which we saw earlier like a helix. So, this is the stabbing and this is the sutured pericardial or epicardial pacemaker. So, surgically placed pacemakers. Based on the shape, either straight or J or the curved, which are placed usually in the right atrium.